All right, hello, friends. It is the Kotwica Broncos podcast, and today I'm here to talk about that the Broncos coaching staff just got stronger, just got upgraded, and of course, I'm talking about none other than our move that we made yesterday in hiring special teams coordinator Darren Rizzi. So I just want to mention a couple things. First of all, we would like for you to enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. You always wait until the end. Hopefully, I'll have earned it. Let's dive right into it. So, why did this position open? Well, first of all, our special teams was not as good as you thought it was. Okay, over the past 2 years, I know everybody has been saying that, the Broncos special teams has been a great strength. And yes, this group has improved leaps and bounds from 2019 to 2021 with Tom McMahon and then 2022 with Dwayne Stukes. We were rotten. It was like rotten how bad our special teams was during that time period. Probably far and away the worst in the league. Like there were almost no redeeming qualities about our special teams from that point. Only exemplified by we had some buffoons running the team, running the unit as coordinators as well. But also, yes, we have improved. We have improved, but the only area of our special teams that is consistently good is kick punt return. Like, that's it. Like, our kick punt coverage isn't always the best. What's it called? Our field goals, there's still room to be improved upon there. And also, Riley Dixon, I just still don't think that we have a legit weapon at punter as well. And as far as field goal protection, field goal blocking, like, I do think that needs some work as well. Because field goal protection, I mean, that should be mindless. You don't have to think about it, but we did at a point this year. But field goal blocking, I just would like to see us show some more effort as well. So back to talking about this, of all the dudes in our coaching staff, I did not think of Kotwica as, one of the ones to be let go. I would have thought that Kerry Colbert would have been one of the dudes to be let go. I would have thought that Louis Yenny, based on how bad our running back and wide receiver production was this year, and effort and play were this year. But, this doesn't surprise me. This doesn't surprise me because this tells me that it was more about Westhoff. It was more about Westhoff running this unit. And after he retired I think after the Chiefs game, that was the writing was on the wall for Kotwica as well. Now, granted, if Kotwica had finished the year well, then I think he would have definitely had his chance again to run the special teams unit. But we did not. We did not finish the year well at all. Ultimately, it is the right decision. If Sean Payton wants Rizzi, if Sean Payton wanted to fire Kotwica, then I don't disagree with that process whatsoever. But the reason I'm fine with it, the reason this position opened ultimately was because we had some absolutely inexcusable game-losing special teams mistakes this year. We had the blocked kick against Kansas City. We had the Traymon Smith, whatever, at the end of the Chargers, or at the end of the first half against the Chargers, where he literally ran into the dude and gave him the free kick. We also had some really bad punts in overtime by Riley Dixon. And listen, that's not the fault of one of those dudes, but with better coaching, those are things that should have been taken care of. Now, a shank punt is like one thing, but Traymon Smith, you just got to do better in that situation. You know your role as a premier special teams ace. Like, you just can't be making mistakes like that. Alex Forsythe should have never been out there to begin with. That's not on him. The fact that he was getting pancaked in field goal protection for like 2 weeks before that every single time, and the fact that our coaching staff could not adjust is inexcusable, and we 1000% deserved what happened after that as well. Now, I'm talking about Darren Rizzi here because I am really, really excited about this hire. He has 25 years of coaching special teams experience across the NFL. Actually, that's wrong. I did make a mistake there. It's combined between NCAA and or college football and the NFL as well. But most recently, he was the Saints interim head coach after Dennis Allen got fired. And one thing I really liked about him was he at least showed some charisma. Dennis Allen was a real wild card there. He said some really, really weird things about players that had been often injured, like Kendre Miller is a dude who he seemed to go to the podium and have no problem with absolutely dunking on him. So the writing was on the wall for Allen. I thought the Saints were going to be in for a tough year. And granted, the roster is just not good anymore. The team is lacking talent. They have almost nothing going for them. One of the grimmest futures in the NFL. But Rizzi did a lot better, in my opinion, carrying himself than Dennis Allen did. And you know what? Some guys just aren't ready for the big chair, and that's the reality of the situation. Second time Dennis Allen's failed as a head coach, by the way. But talking about Rizzi again, since 2013, 8 out of the 12 seasons that he has coached, been one of the main special teams coordinators in the NFL, his units have had a DVOA inside the top 10. So what is DVOA? Well, it just basically measures how good your unit is compared to the rest of the league average, and they use a specific formula. I'm not entirely sure, but um, special teams DVOA is pretty much the only way we can quantify how good a special teams unit is, because obviously there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot that we don't see, uh, that only like the most premier film grinders and analytics nerds can see. But yeah, so Rizzi spent 2010 and 2018 with the Dolphins, where he survived through multiple head coaches, which shows you that he was at least respected enough to at least hang on to a role, despite the fact that they were, kind of churning over head coaches there at will. But yeah, 2019 onwards, he was with the Saints, and they were pretty good on special teams. Like, when I think about um, teams that have hit bad on special teams over the past few years, I do not think of the Saints whatsoever. And also a bonus that, he's been top 15 in special teams DVOA ever since 2019 as well. So that's not to say our special teams is going to be elite. It's not to say that our special teams is even guaranteed to be great, but it's not going to be bad. And that gives me a lot of hope. So what does this symbolize about Sean Payton and the rest of the staff? Well, listen, even though our coaching staff got rinsed by other teams, even though we lost Morton, even though we lost Shaw, even though we lost Doyle, even though we lost a couple of other guys who I can't think of off the top of my head right now, we still have a pretty deep coaching staff. And I would say the most important assistant coaches on this team, there's still Webb, Zach Strief, Jamar Kane, Jim Leonard, but Darren Rizzi is now up there. And obviously, you can't talk about the most important positional coaches or most important assistant coaches without talking about Vance Joseph, because there's now 3 guys in the Denver Broncos building that have head coaching experience. Davis Webb, or no, not Davis Webb, Sean Payton, uh, Darren Rizzi, as well as Vance Joseph as well. So if something were to happen to Sean Payton, you at least have options who can step in. And usually when coaches get fired, or when a coach has a leave of medical absence, for a game or two, it usually is the special teams coordinator that steps in, because, they want the OC and the DC to be able to continue doing their work on, their side of the ball, and the special teams coordinator can, just keep the guys together. But yeah, my question is, what exactly does assistant head coach entail? Because he was named special teams coordinator / assistant head coach, and that's not a new thing. Like, I know Kansas City does that with Dave Tube there, and he's had that role for a long time. But, what exactly is his role? Had he just been hired as a special teams coordinator? What's different? What's different? That's what I want to know. Maybe he has more pull, unlike the rest of the team, than uh, had he just been hired to be a special teams coordinator. I'm not entirely sure, but here are some looming questions we have about the special teams unit that, frankly, aren't answered yet. They're not answered yet, and I don't know when they're going to be answered, but these are valid questions, especially because, we got to look at every single angle when talking about our football team. So we have long-term questions about kicker and punter. Yeah, Lutz is fine. Lutz is fine. He's a, pretty accurate dude. He's mainly reliable. Within the 50-yard line, there's not a lot of times where I'm just like, oh my God, he's going to miss it. I can at least breathe a little easier knowing that he is our kicker. But is he a long-term solution? That's up for you to decide, and it's up for this roster. It's up for George Payton, Sean Payton, and now Darren Rizzi to decide as well. Punter Riley Dixon, man, I know we downed a lot of punts at the 1 this past year, especially early on in the year. But I'm still asking myself, like, if you're playing in Denver, why is punting not a perennial strength of yours? Like, especially because you are playing in the most punting friendly atmosphere in all of football. Maybe besides Wyoming at 7,000 feet in college football. But either way, I just got to be asking myself, why is this not a perennial strength? Why is this something that year after year we are not leading the NFL in? Year after year, why do we not have a Pro Bowl punter? Why do we not have an all-pro dude at that position? And I'm not entirely sure. But maybe that's something that this front office decides to upgrade at this offseason. And honestly, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate the process of it. Is Dixon fine for another year or two? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's fine. But like I said, I just want a dog back there. I want a dude who can literally be guaranteed to pin the opponents inside the 10-yard line whenever we're playing at home. I think that'd be absolutely fantastic. So the other main thing we have to talk about is, can they convert in the big moment? Because this past year, it was a resounding no. This past year, we did not see them convert in the big moment, and it was painful. It was really, really painful to watch the blocked kick against Kansas City. I literally fell over when that happened. It was really painful to give the Chargers momentum. It was really painful to give the Bengals a short field in overtime. But, another question I have is, how does Rizzi have them prepping on field goal protection and field goal block opportunities? Like I said, the field goal block opportunities and energy, they just weren't there for us this year. Our dudes literally looked like they'd rather be doing anything else than be on the field goal blocking unit or whatever. So yeah, these are some looming questions I have about our special teams. It's not like, once again, this is not a unit that's going to get an overnight makeover. All the good parts of this unit are still there. The pieces are still in place. And yeah, I'm not sure we're going to finish inside the top 5 in DVOA again, but you know what? I am really happy with this hire. I think we made a really, really good hire with Darren Rizzi, and it just symbolizes that our coaching staff just keeps getting deeper and deeper every single week. And yeah, so that basically does it for me. Let me know what you guys think of the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.